Tensions between the United States and Iran have intensified once again, raising fresh concerns over stability in the Middle East as both nations continue military actions that have drawn global attention. According to reports, the United States has continued a series of targeted strikes against strategic locations believed to be linked to Iranian military operations and allied armed groups in the region. The latest attacks are part of Washington's ongoing effort to weaken what it describes as growing security threats against American forces and its allies stationed across the Middle East. In response, Iran has widened its military and political response, signaling that it will not remain silent in the face of continued American attacks. Iranian officials have vowed to defend the country's sovereignty and national interests, warning that any further escalation could have serious consequences for regional peace and international security. The renewed exchange of hostilities has heightened fears that the long-running rivalry between the two countries could spiral into a wider regional conflict involving several Middle Eastern nations. Military analysts say the situation remains highly volatile, with both sides increasing their military readiness while closely monitoring developments across the region. The United States maintains that its operations are intended to protect American personnel, military installations, and allied forces from attacks carried out by Iran-backed groups. Washington insists that the strikes are defensive measures designed to prevent further threats against its national security interests. Meanwhile, Iran has strongly condemned the attacks, describing them as violations of international law and acts of aggression against its sovereignty. Iranian leaders have accused the United States of destabilizing the region and escalating tensions through continued military intervention. As diplomatic efforts struggle to gain momentum, military activities have reportedly expanded across several strategic locations in the Middle East. Security experts warn that the involvement of regional armed groups allied with Iran could further complicate the situation, increasing the possibility of additional confrontations. Several countries have called for restraint, urging both Washington and Tehran to avoid actions that could trigger a full-scale regional war. The United Nations has also expressed concern over the deteriorating security situation, encouraging dialogue and diplomatic engagement as the best path toward reducing tensions. International observers fear that continued hostilities could disrupt global oil supplies, affect international shipping routes, and create economic uncertainty far beyond the Middle East. Energy markets have already shown signs of concern, as investors closely monitor developments surrounding one of the world's most important oil-producing regions. The Strait of Hormuz, through which a significant portion of the world's oil supply passes, remains under close international observation due to fears that escalating tensions could threaten maritime security. Any disruption in this strategic waterway could have serious consequences for global energy prices and international trade. Beyond the military implications, humanitarian organizations are also expressing concern about the potential impact on civilians living in areas affected by the conflict. Aid agencies warn that prolonged hostilities could worsen humanitarian conditions, displace thousands of families, and increase the demand for emergency assistance. Political analysts believe the coming days will be critical in determining whether diplomatic channels can reduce tensions or whether military actions will continue to intensify. Some experts argue that without meaningful dialogue, the risk of miscalculation between both countries remains dangerously high. World leaders from Europe, Asia, and the Middle East continue to encourage peaceful negotiations aimed at preventing further escalation. Many governments have emphasized that lasting stability can only be achieved through diplomacy, mutual respect, and adherence to international law. For now, both the United States and Iran appear determined to defend their respective positions while keeping military forces on high alert. The international community continues to watch closely as every new development has the potential to influence regional security, global markets, and international diplomacy. As events continue to unfold, governments around the world are monitoring the situation and preparing for possible economic, political, and humanitarian consequences should the conflict expand further. The coming weeks are expected to be decisive as diplomatic efforts compete with rising military tensions in one of the world's most sensitive geopolitical regions. That concludes our report on the latest developments in the United States-Iran conflict.